Good morning, afternoon, or evening from whenever or wherever you are watching this video from. I am Jack Adamas, and I've got a special episode today as I am joined by Arsenal's own Lee Judges. Welcome to the show, Lee.
Hello, Jack. How you doing? You all right? Pleasure, mate. Pleasure.
Very well, thank you. Thank you for coming on. It's a pleasure to have you on.
No problems at all.
I just wanted to start today to talk about the international break and how boring it is. Yeah, because I know you don't like it either. It is so boring and it's annoying. When teams are getting momentum, Arsenal was going on that good run, and now all of a sudden, with this international break, you've got injuries coming through with Martinelli and Saka getting injured on international break. Tomiyasu as well, I've heard now, is now injured as well. So even the squad depth is getting troubled by this international break, which we don't really need, do we really, for these glorified friendlies?
No. Listen, I don't mind international football in the summer, when you've got tournament, but when you're halfway through, like not even halfway through, just at the beginning of a season, this is the second, and of course you've got one in November as well.
Of course.
And listen, we always pick up injuries. There's always you're always going to get injuries. It's part and parcel of football, but it's more annoying when it's on international duty, So to lose Odegaard on the last one and now Saka on this one, and there's rumours about Martinelli, and when you look at it, he's still out there. So get him home, But it's part and parcel of being full. When you're a successful team, this is what happens. A few years ago, we weren't having this worry with England and things like that, but we have now. But it is a pain. Tomiyasu is another one that obviously is not on international duty, but is injured as well. So it's not good. And I don't get excited for these games. I look forward to, I like the break because it means that you've got a weekend off. You can see your mates, do a bit with your family and whatever. But yeah, it's not for me, this international football.
No,
I've got to say.
No, I know what you mean, especially, because they are just glorified friendlies, aren't they? Like you say, sorry, in the summer, when you've got the Euros and the World Cups, it's brilliant because, you get go out with friends and that. But halfway through this, well, not even halfway through, we're 2 months in and we've already had 2 international breaks, one in September and one in October. And then, like you say, there's another one in November, and then I think there's another one in March next year. So it's just going on and on. And, the players are moaning nowadays about the schedule with their fixtures list getting longer and longer. And now they're adding in even more internationals, which is, it's just, it's just annoying as a whole, especially like you say. I don't get excited when I hear England are playing Finland and Greece. No disrespect to Finland or Greece, but it's just, it's a glorified friendly. That's exactly what it is.
100%. I think in March, I think it's the World Cup qualifiers. I can accept them to a certain degree, that you've got to do them and whatever. But, all through when I follow football, you've had Euro qualification, World Cup qualification. Now you brought this in. And you are right, he's glorified friendlies. Listen, we're not even in the top group of it because you got relegated from it. And to be honest, one of the things you think is, well, if you was in the top group, then you're taking on the likes of France, Germany, Italy, Spain, all of those sort of teams. At least well, I did think that maybe when you play these sort of teams, he could or the manager could rotate and go, do you know what, this is an opportunity to bring in players to get them ready for the qualifiers and things like that. But of course, then you've got a new manager that's come in or interim manager that's looking to make a name for himself. So he's going to play everybody. So it's just ridiculous, really. Ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I would definitely agree with you there. And like you say, with the injuries, obviously, because, I'm not an Arsenal fan myself, but the squad depth at Arsenal isn't the best at times. If that doesn't sound too disrespectful, your starting 11's amazing, but then when you're getting your squad players injured as well on these breaks, it must be annoying for you, Lee.
100%. Not only our squad players, our best players. Odegaard's one of our best players.
Odegaard, yeah.
Saka is one of our best players as well. So it's I actually went through yesterday. I know that France and Belgium were playing against each other, Italy as well. Making sure that they're all okay. You know what I mean? Said, oh yeah, they've all. Don't care how well they've played. I see Saliba give away a penalty. Who cares? I don't care. As long as he's fit and ready. But that's another thing is Saliba. Was sort of in the squad last couple of years for France. but very rarely played. So he was getting a break. But now he's playing another. I've noticed he's played every single minute of every single game. So you're not only worried about injury, you're worried about fatigue as well. When are these players going to get a break? I'll tell you when they get a break, when we're playing. You know what I mean? Like not when they should be getting a break, which is now. So, like, Saliba is going to go and play for France a couple of games, and you can think, right, well, we'll have to leave him against Preston in a cup competition that, okay, ain't the greatest, but you still want to win it. And then you might have to leave him out of a Europa League game or a league game. And that's where it's wrong. So, listen, I think Mikel's done a few little dark arts with a couple of the players this week, like Kai Havertz being rested and Thomas Partey. So who knows? But but the likes of Saliba and Declan Rice, who are two of our most important players, are playing every minute of every game, whether it be in the Premier League, cup competitions, and internationals as well. I'll thank you, Lee Carsley. He did give him 5 minutes rest on Sunday, so we appreciate that. Thank you, Lee.
No, that's good. So, talking about the season so far, how do you think your season's going so far, Lee, with Arsenal?
Yeah, really, really well. We've had some really, really tough games. Could have been better if we hadn't got players sent off harshly, but in the letter of the law, you have to say that probably they were right. But overall, to go to Manchester City, go to Tottenham away, which is a tough game for us by any stretch of the imagination, Aston Villa, and come away unscathed in those games. And when you look at it, like Villa have only lost one game, that was against us, and Manchester City still unbeaten. So to go to those two grounds and get results means that we're in a good position at the minute. Even though we're third, it don't look as good as obviously being top. But when you look at the fixtures that we've had some difficult ones. Next month, I think, is going to be the big decider for not just us but for Liverpool as well, because both of us have got some really tough games. While Manchester City, you would look at their fixtures and say that they're going to win them, but we've got a clash with each other. We've got Newcastle away, we've got Chelsea away. It's going to be a massive month for us.
Yeah, of course. It seems like every time I look at Arsenal as well, you're playing away from home. I don't really get it this season. Like you say, you played Aston Villa away, you played Man City away, you played Tottenham away, obviously, or North London derby. You're now going away. You've got Liverpool at home, but then, like you say, you got Newcastle away, Chelsea away. So, how many home games have we had this season so far? Is it about 3 or 4?
It's silly, like I've never known it before. I think it's because of this new Champions League thing. I don't know, but it does seem that we're like either we're having blocks of it's like American football when you go on the road. You have blocks of away fixtures and then blocks of home games, which is something which they do in America, but it's never been like that over here. But it does seem like at the moment, I think in December, for instance, we don't go outside of London. I think we've got like 6 or 7 home games, 2 away, or something crazy like that. And at this moment in time, we're away all the time. But yeah, I've never known to go to that week that you're talking about. We go away to Newcastle, away to Inter Milan, and then away to Chelsea in one, which we've done a little while ago with the one where we went away to, I think it was Tottenham, wasn't it? I think away to Tottenham, away in Europe, and then Atalanta, and then away to Manchester City. So we've done it before, but we've got to do it again. But it does seem like we've been on the road a lot. But it is always the good thing about it is I look at it, if we can get through these games and be there or thereabouts, we'd have played every difficult away ground apart from Liverpool. Listen, I know every game's difficult, but like one of the ones where you're expected probably not to win. We would have got them all out of the way. So so that's why it's an interesting month coming up.
Very true. Very true. And you are favourite with the bookies to win it this year. How do you reckon you're favourite yourself, or are you still like fearing Man City, Liverpool, etc.?
Wow, that's a good question. I think that we'd probably be favourites because of those games that we've played. But it depends on the injury front. Depends how long Odegaard's going to be out. Saka being out for a period now. I think if we can get through this month, I really do think if we could get through this month, we could be 6 or 7 points off of it by the end of this month, or we could be 1 or 2, or even level again. And if we are, then I think, yeah, I would look at it and think that we've got a very, very good chance of winning. I do think we've got a good chance of winning this year. I think that we proved it against Man City, that in that game that they give us our best shots in that first half, and we took them, and then we was 2-1 up, and definitely in the ascendancy to win that game. Then the sending off comes, and then we showed a different side. But I think when it really mattered in that 11 versus 11, that first half, I think we proved that we was more than a match for them. What they've got over us is they've got a better squad. I think that you can't argue that, and they've got the experience. But if we can get over that, I think that we've got a very, very good chance. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And you're right. You can't write out Liverpool at this moment in time. Liverpool look a bit more, I don't want to say organised, because that's a little bit more defensively structured than what they have been in the last few seasons. It's been a fantastic team to watch, but they've always been, there was that little bit of vulnerability. They seem to have got rid of that at the moment, but they've got a testing month coming up. If you'd have spoken to Liverpool fans, they'd have said, first couple of months, good set of fixtures to get them up and running. Really, they've lost to Nottingham Forest, which they shouldn't have done. So on paper, so they could be even better. So they've got some tough games now. So we'll see their credentials as well. But I do think they'll be up there as well.
Yeah, I think they will be too. I think it will be a a 3-horse race. I don't think that people are saying. I can't see why people are saying Chelsea will be there. I can't see it, because they're not ready yet. That's in my opinion. I think they're gonna fall off. I think it will be out of you, City and Liverpool. I do think Liverpool are looking strong, like you said. They have only conceded 2 goals this season, so like you said, they are good defensively. But out of the 3 teams, yourself, Man City, and Liverpool, obviously you have had the harder fixtures. So I can understand why you are the favourites with the bookies, because you've got some very hard games out of the way so far. My next question, I was going to say, what is your bare minimum this season you would accept as an Arsenal fan?
Oh, bare minimum. Top 4 and a cup competition.
Yeah,
that would be like, the bare minimum. Like, yeah. Listen, this thing about winning trophies and that, I get that, but you've got to be challenging to win them, and that's something that we've not done in the past. We are challenging for the title now, which is something I didn't think that we'd see, and consistently going to like going to grounds that up and down the country, or even at home, thinking you're going to win games is a nice thing to have. Where in the past you're going to games and hoping that you weren't going to get beaten by 3 or 4 at times. So to be challenging is a wonderful thing. But I do think that we need to be a little bit more competitive in the cup competitions. So yeah, the minimum is top 4 and a cup competition.
That's fair enough. I can understand that, definitely. What about the Champions League? How do you reckon you're doing the Champions League this season? What would you accept there, and how far do you reckon you can go?
Well, listen, Champions League, you can win it. I think we can win that, but you've got to have a lot of luck in that. You've got to have cup competition. I felt we were disappointed last season in the Champions League. I know it was our first season, but hopefully we've learned from that, because I felt that we went out on a whimper. If I'll be honest, I felt that we should have beaten Bayern Munich. I felt that inexperience cost us in those games, and the game in between, which was Aston Villa when we was going for the title. I don't think we knew what Mikel, a little bit of inexperience cost us there, and I didn't think we'd done enough to beat Bayern Munich, but I didn't think Bayern Munich were that great. So I was disappointed then. If we can get a good run and a good draw, who knows? I don't like saying I accept semi-final, because if you get to the semi-final, I'll be like damn right annoyed if we don't get there. But I think minimum I expect us to get is to the quarterfinals. But with this competition at this moment in time, I don't really understand how it's going to pan out. With these games. So I think you've got to be looking to get into the top 8. That don't guarantee you're going to go on to win it or whatever. So I think that with a squad like us, we can't really afford to maybe have a few more games. So I think that we'll look to try and get into the top 8 and go from there. And then it's all about the draw and a bit of luck. I think you need a little bit of luck sometimes. You know, I think in the game against Bayern Munich, 9 times out of 10, the referee gives that penalty right at the end, and then you win that 3-2. And then it's a different game out in Munich. But so a little bit of luck. And it is a cup competition. The best teams don't win the cup competitions, in my opinion. You know, you look back at recent history. Chelsea have won it when there was nowhere near the best team in it, and other teams as well. Obviously, Real Madrid, can't write them off. Like, you know, I think Liverpool won it in 2005, and they was nowhere near winning the league. So you've got to have a bit of a pedigree in it as well, which we haven't got. So I think, like, looking back at last season, we would have probably learned a little bit from it. But I think we've got to make a mark in Europe somewhere along the line, Jack. We've got to do it. So, you know, there's no time like the present.
Very true, yeah. Like I say, my brother is an Arsenal fan, so that's how obviously I know about you, Lee. And he always talks about Kai Havertz being your most important player this season. Do you agree with him, or who would you say is your most important player?
He's one of them. He's definitely one of them because of the way we play. There's a lot of things about people say about Kai Havertz about goals, but I look more than goals. If you're scoring in other areas, it ain't the most important thing. But I do think that the way he brings players into play and the way he holds up the ball, and it gives us that starting point, you know, to build on, and he's the focal point of the team. So I think he's very, very important, and a better player than what a lot of people say that he is. Once you start watching him week in, week out, you realise what a very, very good player he is and what he brings to the team. And I get it why people don't like him because he's, you know, for whatever reason. But the one criticism I've got him, he's not quite a killer. But you know, listen, you're gonna everybody's going to have slight faults in their game. You know what I mean? That's probably is. But that's the one thing where I think Arsenal fans are looking at him and thinking we need someone that's a killer in there. But he brings so much more to the game. But I think he's one of 3 or 4 of the most important players. Everybody's important in a team. I know what you're saying, but there's players that, you know, you feel like more comfortable when they're in the team and they're not. And if Kai Havertz wasn't in the team, I'm not as comfortable. So he's very, very important.
Yeah, because when you say that about the killer instinct, it seems like Jesus would obviously who'd be his replacement. He seems to have lost it since that injury, hasn't he? That knee.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes. You know what I mean? And again, I don't like the people criticising him at this moment in time. And there is a lot of that going on. There's a few people behind me every time he got the ball the other day criticising him and all that. Fans have short memories, Jack. You know what I mean? They don't realise how good he was before the injury. Unfortunately, injuries do happen and they do make or break you to a certain point. I always was fearful of that. I said that in my first when it went down. I said it's not so much when he comes back. It's when he comes back, and is he going to be the same player? And unfortunately, he's not. That doesn't mean to say that he's not going to be. I think that there may be an opportunity now if Saka's out to say to him, look, this is your position now. Don't worry about goals so much. Just play your football. I think that there's pressure on him when he comes in up front to score goals. You can see that in his play. He's desperate to score, and instead of just concentrating on his good stuff and what he does really, really well. So if he's on the wider position, there isn't that, oh, you've got to score sort of thing. So I'm still hoping that he can turn it around, but it just looks like he's just lost that little bit of sharpness from that injury, which is a shame.
Yeah, and obviously with him playing a bit more now, if Saka is injured, it will help him because obviously he'll get back to match fitness a bit more, so that will help. What are your hopes for the rest of the season then, Lee, with Arsenal?
To win it.
To win it. Oh, yeah, that's obvious. Yeah.
Yeah, to win it. Like, you know, try and keep as injury free as we can. Play the football we're playing, and enjoy the ride. I'm enjoying. You know, I know we haven't won it the last 2 seasons. I've thoroughly enjoyed the last 2 seasons, going up and down the country, watching my team perform, and go to grounds knowing that we've got a good chance of winning games. So, but I think this is the year that I think we've got to nail it. It's going to be difficult. We know it's going to be difficult. You're up against an unbelievable team in Manchester City, which, to be honest, I've seen over the last couple of years, which I probably didn't realise how good they were when you were watching from afar when it was Liverpool and City battling it out. When it's your own team, you realise you've got, unbelievably, you go into games thinking you can't afford to draw. That's how good it is. So, yeah, I believe we can win it. I'm going to back the boys and Mikel. I think that we're on our day, 1-on-1. I think we're better than them now. I do. I genuinely do believe that. But they've got the bigger and better squad. So our 11 plays our 11. I think I'm very confident, as it proved. The Etihad, unfortunately, didn't get the result, but yeah, I'm going for it this season. Come on, you Gunners.
Yeah, because you received a bit of criticism, Arsenal, after that game against Man City, but I can't understand why. You go down to 10 men, you've got a half left. Just defend. That's all you can do. You can't really do much, can you? Because, like you say, they're just this machine. So I don't understand why you got so much criticism after that game. And I believe if Trossard stays on the pitch, I believe you're going to win that game.
Yeah. So who cares? I don't care about the criticism. Bring it on. Bring it on. We're 2-1 up. We're 2-1 up with 10 men against Man City. Let's go out and attack. Let's course. You know what I mean? You hang on for what you got. I think Arsenal would have done that if it was 2-2 at that stage. You know what I mean? I don't care. Listen, if you're losing the game, it's a different situation. But we was winning the game. So listen, I've been in football long enough, and people are the same people that are criticising them have been in dressing rooms when they're saying, right, we'll keep what we've got, and that's what we tried to do. And at the end of the day, it was an I tell you what, when people say, "Oh, we've done that," it was one of the most entertaining first halves I think I've seen for a very, very long while. When I was watching the game, it went like so quick. So from an entertaining point of view, we ain't got to entertain after that. We've done that. It was just about getting over the line, and we nearly did, but we didn't. Yeah, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, let's open up and do everything, yeah, of course, that's what you want to do, and lose the game, and then everybody goes to you, oh well, why didn't you do this and do that? So listen, bring it on, bring on the criticism and everything like that. We know where we was on that day, and I've got no problem with that. No problem whatsoever with doing that. And I'll tell you what, if it happened again, do it again.
Yeah, definitely. I do believe that if you don't win it, because I actually think you've got a very good chance of winning it this year. I believe if you don't win it this year, it will be against one of the smaller clubs where you'll drop points rather than the bigger teams.
At home as well.
Yeah, because against Southampton, you went 1-0 down. Against you was 2-0 up, back to 2-2, and then obviously you got the 2. But then on the other hand of that also shows that you got the courage in it to stay in the game, the whole game.
Stay in it. Two sides of the coin now. I get that. I understand that. It's like when Man City go a goal down against Ipswich a few weeks ago, everybody in the ground's going, oh, well, they'll win that 3 or 4-1, and they did. So when Arsenal do it, you have to think the same. But I do feel that over the last season, I felt what cost us winning the league last season was our home form. It was those results against Fulham at home, down to 10 men, by the way, and carried on attacking and lost a goal in the last couple of minutes, a drew 2-2, losing to West Ham at home, losing to Aston Villa at home. Now, if you look at that, we obviously drew with Spurs as well, but you look at it, you beat Man City, you beat Liverpool. But if you look at that home record, a couple of defeats there, Man City never lost one game at home last season. So just one win against either West Ham or Villa sees you home. And the mistakes that we was making in those games, we've made in the last couple of games as well. So that is my big worry. Have we learned how to deal with those sort of games? And I think we should deal with teams like Southampton and oh blimey, who was the other team we played now?
Leicester.
Southampton and Leicester. Yeah, both teams that have come up from the chat. I think we need to deal with them better than what we have done. Even though we've won the games and it's been great and everything like that, but there's a little alarm bell in the background.
Yeah. Are you fearful, Lee, in any way that obviously if you don't win it this year, that'll be 3 years in a row that you've come so close that the better players in the team like Saka and Saliba may start turning their head, looking at other adventures in their career, or do you reckon that the team's strong enough to stay together and solid?
Yeah, it's a possibility, but I think at this moment in time, there's a belief that they can do it together, and I think that I see what you're saying, but I think that they feel that they're in it for a couple of seasons yet, and I believe if we don't win it this season, we'll win it next season. If we don't, that's how I feel like, I feel that the time is coming, but I think it is very, very important that we try and nail it this season,
yeah, because it is
it is a concern. It is a bit of a concern.
Because, like I say, my brother's an Arsenal fan, so I used to have a bit of banter with him at the start when everyone was saying trust the process, and I didn't believe it. But obviously now you did trust in the process as a club, and look where you are. So
yeah, listen, not all of us trusted in it. I didn't trust in it at one stage. I'll be really honest. There was a time when I didn't think I never thought Mikel should have got the job in the first place because he didn't have the experience, but proven wrong. I then see what he was trying to do, and as I say, I think he's tremendous now. I wouldn't swap him for anybody.
Yeah.
So he certainly won me over. Listen, that's what results do. Football's funny; it's fickle. You know what I mean? If you start winning games, everybody's happy. If you're losing games, you're not. So listen, I think at the moment, whether they got it through pure luck or this was what the plan was in, or a bit of both, don't matter. That's what they've done. They backed the manager. They backed him. They backed him with the players. He's got the players in that he wanted. I think that the discussion with like Arteta and Emery is always going to be there. But I felt when Emery was here, he never got the backing of the ball with the players that he wanted, and struggled after that. But whatever Mikel's wanted, he's got, and so you have to give him credit for that. They've backed him, and he's delivered. Over the last couple of 3 or 4 seasons, it's been fantastic. But we've gone through some tough times as well. There was some tough times for us when we was losing eighth in the league. Losing to teams like Burnley and Everton at home 1-0 and 2-0s and not scoring and whatever. It was tough, but I suppose you have to go through tough times to get to the good times. So hopefully, we've suffered enough and we can enjoy some good times now.
Yeah, like you say, you have gone through some tough times, and I can see even because I don't go to Arsenal games, obviously, even hearing it on the telly, you can hear the Arsenal fans now. They're loving it. They're loving life, aren't they, down at the Emirates? So they're loud now and everything. The crowd are always getting behind them, and rightfully so, because like you say, you've gone through that bad period in your period of history, and now you are fighting. And if it wasn't for this ultra beast that is Man City, you would have won it for the last 2 years.
Yeah,
you can do it this year. So
that's a great point. I think we would have won it the last couple of years, and we've been very, very close to them on the last couple of occasions. Don't get me wrong. So, yeah, but the atmosphere. I think that what's happened. That the only thing that I can explain it is that there's a connection with the players and the club now and the fans again, which I think was disconnected for a while. Not all Arsene Wenger's fault. Football in general, the way that it was going, the superstar players and everything like that. But all of a sudden now, you feel that the fans are appreciated by the players and the club. And when you go to the ground, it is unbelievably fantastic at the moment. That's what winning does, Jack. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. You've got to be winning games of football for that to happen, and the atmosphere to come back, because going back a few years ago, and there's other teams in the league which we won't mention, but you think that you've turned the corner, and then you go to a home game or get stuffed, and you deflate again. But it's like a snowball effect. It keeps you keep winning, you keep enjoying it, and so it's a great atmosphere at the moment. And I think everybody really looking forward to, whether it be a home game or an away game. You look forward to the game. I know, like, our next home game's Champions League on Tuesday, so not everybody can go to the away game. So everybody will be looking forward to that game, and it'll be a great atmosphere again in the stadium, as it will be for the Liverpool game come Sunday. So the atmosphere is really, really good at the moment.
Talking about the Champions League, that's your next game. Would you prefer to win the Champions League over the Premier League this season, or would you take the Premier League?
Jack. I want to win the league. I want to win the league because I think that's the one. 38 games. You want to do that. And listen, it's been a while since we won the Premier League. Now people will turn around and go, "Well, we've never won the Champions League." Yeah, I do want to win that. At some point, I'd love to see us win that. But for me, the league is always the one, because that means you're the best. So I'd still say the league, but listen, I do want to see us win the Champions League at some stage. Yeah.
Well, you never know. You could do the double this year, Lee.
Well, I could do the double. You never know, Jack. You never know.
Yeah. Oh no, that's good. Have you got any adventures coming up, Lee, yourself? Anything you've got on the horizon yourself? You're doing shows wise?
I got a big thing coming up soon. For Channel 5, which is a good thing, coming up. I can't say too much about that at the moment, but it means I miss Inter Milan away, because that's when filming starts. So I've had to miss, which is a bit of a gutner, because I don't like missing Arsenal games, but on this occasion I've had to do that. So still, just every game, going to every game. It is still exciting, and even though I'm getting a little bit older now, sometimes it's a little bit tiring. It's still, worth. Like you think, glad I'm buzzing for Bournemouth on Saturday now. Like, even though it's a 5:30 kickoff, I'm not a lover of them, if I'll be honest. But just doing that. Like, still obviously got things going on in my own channel as well, which is exciting. We're doing some good stuff on there. Well, I enjoy doing that stuff because it's sort of my input on that. Like, sometimes when you're doing AFTV, it's not your input. Like, but all my I get to put my ideas. Some of the ideas that I've got, I can use. So like we're doing a show. The next one, which is like favourite Arsenal players. Not necessarily the best Arsenal team, but what's your favourite players? And then me and Dan are going to go up against each other and see which team would win.
Yeah.
So just things like that. Like, I'm very, very fortunate, Jack, that the job that I've got, that I can do this now. Like, you know what I mean? I'm very, very lucky. Like, to follow Arsenal over the world. It's not just like in Europe. Now I've been to America and go on the tours and all that. Very, very lucky. Very lucky.
You mentioned AFTV then. Just to say, when I first started up my channel, which was just over a year ago now, I actually reached out to a lot of people just asking for advice. And Robbie was one of the only people that actually replied to me. He wrote me a big paragraph, like just with some words of motivation. And I'm so grateful for that. And obviously yourself for coming on as well. I'm so grateful for that. So I just wanted to say thank you there. I'm involved with Robbie as well.
Yeah, Robbie's all right. He's a good guy. You know what I mean? He's very, very helpful in everything that he does. I had a little story with Robbie just now. Is that obviously, like, the filming for this come up in while we're supposed to be in Italy, and obviously I'm meant to be going, and I phoned him up and said to him, like, this is the opportunity. Go for it. I mean, don't worry about it. Don't come to the Italy game. He's very, very supportive in everything that you do. So I didn't know Robbie before I ever went on the channel. The first time I went on the channel, I think it's about 10 years ago now. So and just got to know him through that. now, because of everything, like we travel to the away games together now, and obviously in Europe, you get to know someone a little bit more, you know, as the person. So we get on really, really well. He's a great guy, and yeah. So as I say, like, you know, to be working with the guys and doing what we do is an unbelievable experience. Really, like, you know, I feel very, very lucky and fortunate that I've got that opportunity.
No, perfect. We'll wrap it up there, Lee, then for today, if that's all right with you.
No worries, Jack. Lovely, like, you know what I mean? No
Thank you very
problem.
much for coming on, like I said, and I
And
wish
good
you
luck with the
Arsenal
channel.
all the best for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much, and good luck with your channel as well. Like,
I would definitely prefer you to win it over City and Liverpool, so don't worry. I'll be rooting for
who do
you.
you support anyway?
I do a show called The Bottom 14 where I talk about all the teams that aren't in the top 6. So I've tried to stay non-biased and not mention my team yet, but off camera, I'll tell you.
Off camera, you can tell me. Like,
Yeah.
right. Message me and let me know, like, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'll let you know, Lee. Yeah.
Lovely. Cheers, Jack.
Take care. All the best for the rest of the day. Have a great day.
You too, mate. Take care.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Take care now. Bye-bye.